there for the second part of the first webcast, part 2. We had Spiro on for part 1, so make sure you check that out. This will be up on FearFishing.com, the FearFishing fan page, my personal fan page, and subscribe to YouTube if you don't miss any of this down the road. We're going to get all these up on YouTube for sure. We're going to work on the live feed problem, but until then, we're going to film some of these and we're going to get them out there on YouTube. So,
you want to do some questions and comments?
Yeah. Well, let's do some questions and comments. We've had a ton of social media people, even though we're not live, filing in some questions. So,
I got a pretty good one here, man. If you want it.
Okay, let's go.
Trevor. Wow, that's a bit tough.
Kunopaski.
Kunopaski?
Yeah, that's our guest, our next guest.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. Let's call him TK. That's good. We all know hula poppers are the best bass lure in the world. Debatable. I have one from 1984. I have caught so many fish on it that skirt fell off. I can't say what he said before, but the skirt fell off it and the bait's butt. He's used some select words here. If I were to replace it, what color would you choose?
That's a two-part
Trevor,
question.
like,
there.
wow. Wow, man, way to stump me right off the bat.
Well, we all know your go-tos are black and brown.
Well, black and brown.
Wait.
But you know,
What's a hula popper?
It's a hula popper. And the hula poppers are like, if I can remember right, because I think I had one of these as a kid, and it looks about this big, and it looks like a Super Mario frog. On the water, and it has got the 2 most dangerous treble hooks in the world. Because I'm pretty sure that every family member,
everyone's been hooked in the
has got one in the leg or the arm, or
for sure.
So I know, looking back, it comes with a white skirt. Now I'm thinking, and I will. Bubblegum is one of my. It's like a kill color. If you're fishing, bedding fish somewhere,
Like 90% of Tyler's life.
Yeah, that is true. If anybody follows FearFishing, and they know that Tyler is all about the bedding fish in September.
They're always there.
But, you know, I fished Lake Ontario when the smallmouth were on beds, and if you could drop any color in the world down there, and if you put something pink, they just go nuts for it.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to re-skirt a hula popper, I think I'm going to go bubblegum.
Yeah, hot pink.
Like a bleeding frog. Because you can't throw that in the lily pads.
No.
We're throwing this in open water, and it's going to take about a 9-pound bass to take this down. So let's not mess around. Let's just go right to pink bubblegum.
I like this second part of his question the best. Also, my friend Kenny threw up in my tackle box. Do you think I should use bleach or gas to clean off the slate? I say once you chuck them out of the boat, a little bit of Lysol will probably do all right.
Yeah. Just get rid of the tackle box.
I'd probably just roll it out.
Especially if it's full of hula poppers from 1984.
With no skirts.
1984 was the whole sun ice thing and everything, so I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably some pretty wild colors out there that we could choose.
Those old Shimano rain suits, remember?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's before my time. But
Yeah, just a young buck here. Amber, you got a question?
Scott Chandler is asking what your favorite rod and reel brand is and why.
Oh,
there's so many brands.
there's so many, and
we got to go
you know,
technique specific.
we're gonna have to go text. If I could pick a rod that I use absolutely the most, it's going to be I have a bad wrist, so I like a softer rod. So when I'm flipping, I'm going to go with a 7.6, and when most guys are going to throw that heavy, heavy to like ultra heavy, I like to throw a medium heavy flipping stick. So most of the time, that's what I'm going to use.
And what brand do you prefer and why?
Everybody's got a brand they want to go to, right?
Yeah, at this stage of the game, there's probably not a bad choice, right? I know what he's totally fishing for, but
yes.
yeah, I totally know what he's fishing for, and he's not going to get it out of this guy. So when you get to when you go into a tackle store, I don't think there's really, a rod or a reel if you take a $500 reel and a $500 reel, it's like taking, a Ford and a Chevy truck. They're both going to do the same thing. It's just about what you really want. I'm not going to say that anybody's better than anybody,
No,
I also don't have a real sponsor, so
as long as you're comparing apples to apples.
That's right. What's my favorite $70 rod and what's my favorite $800 rod?
Yeah.
That's going to be two different things, but
if you're going like a 2-piece over the counter Canadian Tire special, or you're going to a store specific and you're getting your nice 1-piece rods that are like say $600-700, you're not comparing apples to apples. Like,
I'll put it this way: if you're somebody who's not fishing bass tournaments and you have to buy one rod and one rod only, I would tell you to go out and get a 7-foot spinning rod with a medium fast tip. And you can use that for absolutely every fish in Canada.
Yeah.
So
Keep it in the back.
you can drag tubes with that. You can cast spinner baits. You can throw a Texas worm. So that's going to be my answer to the question. Buy yourself a 7-foot medium action, medium fast tip, any brand.
You know, that just loads you up for another question. Why do we carry like 8 or 9 rods whenever we do a tournament?
8 or 9?
Yeah,
26.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm too lazy
Wait a
to
minute,
tie
am I gonna
26
get-
knots in a day.
That's what it is.
I'm
right
married, so I'm only allowed 8 or 9.
Now, why do golf players have 18 clubs?
There you go.
I don't know. Can't play golf.
Now, Justin Bailey wants to know your waypoints and your favorite fishing spot.
I would probably ask a better angler.
Touche.
Yeah, you know what?
You know what?
If somebody wants to buy my fish finder, I'll sell it to you with the waypoints on it. Because this is not the guy you want waypoints from.
I think there's a good answer to that. I like flipping cane.
Yep.
So whenever I hit the water, it doesn't matter what lake, doesn't matter if I'm fishing with Rich or if I'm fishing with you or whoever, I'm instantly going to be attracted to going to the cane.
Yep.
Waypoints or not, that's where I'm going, and I'm going to start there. If it's somewhere that I've never fished before and I don't have my Navionics to look at, or whatever brand that you store your waypoints in, that's where I'm going, and that's where I'm going to start my day from. That's my own personal thing. Waypoints or not, that's my own.
But at like this part of the game, if I'm going to Rice Lake and I'm going to try to win a tournament, in 8 hours, my waypoints are probably the most valuable thing I have. Because in 8 hours time, if I have, let's say I've got 40 waypoints, I don't have to fish anything the whole day, but 40 places I know there's fish.
But the day before you've gone out and you pre-fish, or 2 days before you've gone to pre-fish,
but in
you're
my
going in with a
pre-fish,
completely blank sheet.
I'll tell you at Big Rideau, this is something interesting. At Big Rideau in 4 days, I got 96 waypoints. 96 places on the Portland area where I thought I could catch fish. By the time tournament time came, I bet you there was 10 of them I really felt good about. And I didn't really know the lake that well. So and there's so many islands, I would have found 3 of those 10 again. So, again, you don't want mine. I didn't even make the cut. There's 12 guys in the top 12 that made day 3. I would hunt those guys down for waypoints.
Another thing too is that, like, how many times did you go fishing even when you were a boy and you're out in a tin boat and you see an older gentleman and he's lived on a lake his entire life and he's out there in his plaid coat and his cooler and he's just ripping. He doesn't have any electronics.
No.
They just it's lake knowledge.
That's right. And there's kind of and we're at like a day where there is that like side finders and front finders and everything, and that's what a tournament bass angler needs. But where you're coming from is like the everyday fisherman, and I know a pile of guys who work better than GPS.
Yeah.
I know some old guys who can stand in front of the boat and almost smell a spot.
Sure.
So, probably because we do so much traveling, we don't get that time on the water to know it like that. But
that's the hard thing going into the tournament
right.
is the time.
And you're changing and
it's the time. It's you're there for 8 hours. You're there for 4 hours. You're there for 10 hours. It's your time.
Absolutely.
So just like anything else, you have to approach it with that mindset that I'm here to do my job. This is my job. This is what I need to get done within the allotted time of my job.
Absolutely.
But if you're just going out for a weekend spot, like I said, me personally,
fish wherever you
I'm
got
going to
confidence.
the cane and I'm looking at either lily pad beds. I'm going to throw a frog. Or
That's
I'm
right.
gonna flip
Absolutely.
a
You should go with what you have. And everybody has
comfortable fishing.
And I feel really good like throwing a jig and swimming it. Like that, when I got to a lake and if I didn't know the lake, that's the first thing I'd pick up. And I wouldn't flip it. I'd cast that as far as I could and I reel it in as fast as I could until I had an aggressive fish. Take it. Yeah. So everybody has their confident thing to start off. Yeah. Okay, let's get to another question.
Mike Small is asking a swivel shot hook or just a circle hook for drop shot.
Swivel shot. Swivel shot all the
I
way.
don't know.
I'm totally- I
with the
like
circle. I'm with the circle.
I'm going swivel shot.
I hate drop shotting, so.
Why? Why? What's
Because that's what Ian tells me to do when he's finished helping me. Drop shot or Senko?
You know what? I've had all kinds of luck at a Senko. So
I don't have any
Here's
luck with
something.
that at
Here's
all.
something with
Some
swivel
people hate
shots and circle hooks. People are complaining about the circle hooks mainly because of line twist.
Yep.
Right? Swivels, you're not going to get the line twist. Here's my theory on it. Catch a fish, you don't have any more line twist.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So, okay.
So I'm gonna go with
Where's
swivel.
some fish?
You need a swivel. No.
With a circle hook, in the past, I lost fish. Since I've been using the swivel hook for drop shotting, I've lost a lot fewer fish.
Right.
So when it goes during practice, I'll use the cheapest circle hook I can find.
Oh, for sure.
On tournament day, I'm gonna tie on that swivel hook.
But again, you're opening a can of worms because it's not just your hook. Then you got to say what kind of line you're tying.
Well, I'm gonna use
What's the
brace
setup?
with a fluorocarbon because and I'm gonna use a 7-foot rod and probably an 8-foot fluorocarbon leader.
Yeah.
Right till it almost gets to the spool, but never reels on my line because it's such a bugger to deal with.
Right.
And if I have 8 feet above a smallmouth bass, and he's gonna look up and see 10-pound braided line and go, "Well, am I gonna bite this?" Then that fish is too smart for me to
Yeah,
catch.
yeah,
And
you're not gonna catch
there's,
them anyway.
there's 10 more down there that I'm
Yeah.
gonna get. So, is it worth putting fluorocarbon all the way into the spool? Not for me because I'm not dealing with that mess all day.
What
I'm
do you
gonna
think,
use
Zimmer?
braid.
I don't even use those things. It's not a jig. I don't even use it.
Just say they're the big net.
Zimmer just throws a jig
Yeah,
all
if
the
it's not a
time.
black and blue jig, I don't.
80 feet of water?
Have you got one of those 1984 Bahoo poppers in your toilet?
Oh, I use some of those once in a while.
Next
So,
question.
Tommy Blakely, if you're fishing in fall and it's pouring down rain, do you do anything different or is there stuff you won't throw that you normally would catch them on?
I'm gonna put my raincoat on and wear my long trunks.
I'm a fair weather fisherman, so if it's raining like that,
I don't know.
I'll
After
tell
we
you-
did that, we got soaked.
Yeah, I'm
we
gonna,
did
I'm
so.
gonna, at the Classic in Paulson, it was pouring rain. And I don't mean like sprinkling rain. It poured
It's
rain.
pouring
That-
enough
that-
to fry your phone.
That
Yeah.
classic was our clubby.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
So,
8 hours.
did I do anything different?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I probably caught the most aggressive walleye that I'd ever caught in my life in 3 feet of water on jerk baits. And I like not moving them slow, I was ripping those jerk baits. So what is that going to tell me? That fish in the fall when it rains, they're going to get aggressive and they're going to head shallow. That pressure changes, and some fish are going to totally not feed.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a pile of fish that get real excited and they're going to head shallow to feed. So maybe my advice in the rain is to don't even be afraid to throw a popper in the rain.
No, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
it's going to drive fish up, and anything that's going to in the fall time feed aggressively is looking for minnows. So throw something big, and
Here's
Totally
here,
different.
I had a different approach on it, and it worked well for me that particular day. I was on a different body of water, but what I did was I went into I started flipping lily pads in about 6 to 8 feet of water, and I was throwing big baits, not your little
yeah,
flipping Ian West tubes, but I was throwing the big 5-inch pit bosses.
yeah.
And they were annihilating these baits. And I don't think it's what you where am I trying to go with this? Try to
Speed her up, bud. You're losing the crowd here.
Yeah, I know. It's a slower bait. It's a slow falling bait because it's so big.
It's so big.
But I think it was for
I
us.
don't
It was
think
getting away from the
I don't
crowd.
think in the fall that you can throw too big of a bait.
No,
like
that's right.
at the end of the year, the bait fish, the bluegill, everything is at their maximum size. The bass are at their maximum size. So when they're putting on the feed bag to get ready for winter, they're eating big stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's
They're
no
eating
more.
that and they can get
That's
hold of
right.
it,
There's no more there's no more eating like 2-inch minnows. Like they're looking for a meal. They're looking for like a 12-inch
Quick
bluegill.
stuff,
That's
burn
right.
the least amount of energy.
And get
Yeah.
as much protein into their
Yeah.
system as
And
possible.
when it's raining like that, you usually get a lot of the wind, right? So
That's
look for
right.
clean water. That's
That-
the biggest tip I can give anybody is look for clean,
Yep.
fishable water.
Absolutely.
Stay away from that dirty, stained stuff. Go for the clean stuff, and you're 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get fish.
And do we have any more?
Yes. Shane Julia, is there 3 FLW events in Canada next year? And if so, how exciting is that? It's such a big deal down south. Nice to see.
We just talked about this in the first part of the show, but there's going to be 3 events and a championship.
Yeah.
I know the middle event, I believe, is going to be held on Rice Lake. The other 2 are a mystery, and the championship will be held in September again on Big Rideau.
Awesome.
That's what I know is going to happen for sure. And the payouts are huge. Based on a 100-boat field, and I don't think there's
No one.
There-
No one.
I can't. There's no way they're not getting 100 boats on Rice Lake.
No.
No way,
It's gonna sell
especially
it so fast.
for a $20,000 payout.
20 grand. And then it
That's
drops.
more than anybody's paying
What
in
are
a
we going down to
classic.
second? 10
10 grand for second.
Can you
And
imagine the lineup of boats that are going to be in this?
oh,
There's a
on
100.
Rice
It's capped-
Lake,
it's
there's
gonna
no
be
way.
capped at
It'll
100
be
boats.
capped at
there-
100 boats.
absolutely.
It has to be.
There's no way they're not getting 100 boats at $20,000 on Rice Lake.
No,
Because there's not a classic that gives away a $20,000
No.
check. And we're all dying to fish that level of event for big money, and this is our opportunity.
Okay, we got somebody else calling in at 9:30.
Yeah, we got another guest coming in.
Okay, I got 2 more good ones here. Mike Small.
Okay?
This would be so much better live with beer. Can't wait to watch it. Now, the other guy, Jonathan Doherty?
Doherty.
Doherty?
Doherty.
JD? We can go with that.
JD.
He
I
kind of
love
wraps
JD.
into that as well. He says, when will we be able to watch it?
So, right now, I guess it
Go
doesn't
ahead
matter
and
what
answer
time
that
it is.
live,
When we're
too.
as soon as we're done broadcasting this, we are going to upload it to YouTube, and then we'll use the Fear team to spread it all over social media. So by the time I answer this question, you'll have already seen this. And the only part of it live is the stuff coming out of my mouth right now. So I'm already old news.
And one very, very quick, fast one, if we can,
Okay?
is do any of you throw a 7-inch dinger?
No.
No. I can't say that I've thrown a 7-inch dinger. Dinger.
No.
I think that's a yum bang. Yum?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
that a
yeah,
yum
yeah,
bang?
yeah.
No, I can't ever say I have. Okay, beauty. There we go. Yep. There we go. Turn the volume up. Good day, sir.
Nice sweater.
Hello.
Look at you. Is that a fancy glass you got there?
Is it fancy? That's my cognac glass.
Oh, man.
That's
He's
the
in the
pinky,
bathroom.
the pinky razor.
Wow. You don't mess around at all.
Oh well, it's like the only clean glass. I think we have a lot of fancy glasses in this house.
It's in the
There's like 2 of them.
I
So.
think he's in the bathroom.
You're my hero, Trevor.
Oh,
Amazing.
Are you in the bathroom?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the only clean glass you've got in your house is in your bathroom?
yeah.
My wife's like, they're gonna know you're in a bathroom, and I'm like, no, they won't.
The first thing I noticed.
You look like a king right now.
Well, this is the downstairs throne. I got it dressed up, but it's just basically the kids are in bed, but there's always like so much crap going on in this house. My wife's like here and there and trying on clothes for work tomorrow and laundry. So it's like a little hideaway, you know.
Yeah,
Nice spot.
So let's get right into it. How?
Yeah.
Did you read the announcement about the payouts for FLW?
I just got off the phone with Corey Banford actually.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It is, and then right after that, Kenny Dashney called me,
Yep.
and he's like, "Can you believe those payouts? That's only 100 boats." He says, "Even if like 80 boats show up."
Oh, for sure.
I saw the announcement on Rice, and there's no way we're not getting 100 boats if we're not getting 130 on Rice Lake, because that's more than our classic money here.
I know, isn't that insane?
Yeah, like that's nuts. The classic I fished this year only paid 12 grand for 2 days, and we're looking, and the second place is 10. So
Yeah.
this is huge.
What did they say? What did they say? Second place was
10,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's a lot of
That's
money.
huge. Like, this is real professional fishing coming to Canada.
Yeah, it is. It is professional, and the way it was run the last on the big Rito event was outstanding. Like, I mean, we fished like, you know, you fished hundreds of tournaments like myself, and I don't know, there was just there was a different feel to it. It was exciting. Like, it felt fresh and exciting, and
it was like the whole process was professional. Like, there was no lineups or blips on the blast off. You know, Corey and his team did a great job getting people through, and like in a good pace, right?
Yeah,
So,
it was good. It was great. It was exhilarating, actually. Even on the last day, like when traveling up the locks, it was outstanding. Like, it was, I don't know, like I've been on some finals before, but it was just the mood of the anglers is what set it up. Like, everybody was in a good mood. They were excited. There was a nervous tension in the air. There was competitiveness, but there wasn't like you were rooting for everybody. You know? It was the first time ever you were like, man, I hope that guy beside me does good. You know, like it was extremely exciting.
And even though I didn't get to fish day 3, I got to go to the weigh-in and I got to see the excitement at Smith Falls. Like, that community really came out there and showed their appreciation to everybody, and everybody was excited. All 12 teams were excited to be there, like ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah,
and the best part is the guys who won the big fish, I got to stand with them the whole time and bug them about somebody's got to have one bigger than that.
Yeah.
So it was a great time. So walk us through your 3 days and what got you to the final, and did you change your plan at all, or did you just fish day 3 how you did the last 2?
Yeah, pretty much. I think basically after a couple of days of practice, Kenny and I chose to fish a lot of big Rito events. Like, we don't live real far away from there, like maybe an hour away. So, and we've fished on that lake numerous times. We've won a few tournaments out there in the past, but every year it changes a little bit. So you can never count on you know, like fishing memories, if you will, to have any success. But well, the big thing that's happened to us in the last year is that up to this point, we've actually never had electronics, and I mean like no electronics, zero electronics, like basically plumb bomb off the side of the boat. And so one of the things that I inspired to do is to become a lot like Brett Earler, and I was really amazed by watching this guy pick these fish off in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, you know, I think there's a lot of fish out there and no one's going after them, so I'm going to figure out how to do it. So over the course of this summer, we noticed the fish were starting to stack up, and not stack up, but move offshore, and I mean like way offshore, like 300-400 yards offshore in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of people were out fishing out there, but they were fishing humps and rock piles, but we determined that they weren't even on those. They were just floating around, like they were just out in the middle of nowhere, and all you had to do was just kind of come across one, and when you see one, you jiggle them up on the screen, and it got to the point that we started realizing they were on bait balls, and like these huge, enormous bait pods of some kind of minnow, I don't know what, some kind of forage fish.
Yep.
But we started, it's all small, dropping down on them. We started realizing on the first day of practice, there was the fish that was on the top of the bait balls that they were eating, and on the second day of practice, it was the fish that were on the sides of the bait balls that they were the ones that wanted to eat it. And then by the first day of the tournament, it was kind of they were back to like the fish that were on the top, so we had to just figure out which ones were the ones that were active, and we wouldn't even bother trying to catch the other ones because they just wouldn't eat.
Okay.
And the first day was okay. Day 2 was we were actually a little disappointed. We should have probably weighed in about 23 pounds. I don't know. It just sometimes you just don't get them into the boat. Like
that's fishing, right?
Yeah, you're 50 feet of water.
Yeah.
There's no reason that the fish should come off, but they do sometimes, I guess. And they were even barely hooked. The ones we did get were barely hooked. So we changed baits, we changed everything just to see if they'd eat it a little bit deeper. And we still managed to catch, I think, like 18 pounds. Actually, 18 right on the pin, I think.
Yep.
And that was enough to make the cut. And and this day 3, when that cold front moved in, the bait scattered. Like the bait pods were like, they weren't big anymore. They were like a whole bunch of little wee ones, and the smallmouth obviously that we were targeting had moved out with like a. You know, they were there, but they just didn't seem that you could hit them right in the face with the drop shot. They just wouldn't eat it. Like you'd see them move in on the graph. You'd see them arcing down. They'd come over to it. You could see I had my 20% cone on, so I knew they were right underneath me. Mm-hmm. And that was it. They wouldn't eat. They'd look at it, and then you'd literally see them swim off the graph. So
If they're, congratulations on the top 12, by the way.
Sure.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
If you could do the tournament again, you had a time machine, what is one thing you would change about it? One thing you guys think you could have changed?
Day one. So day one, obviously there was an abundance of fish and a lot of fresh water to go after. And we actually went out in about maybe the first 15 minutes. We caught two really big ones out on the drop shot in about 40 feet of water. And they were suspended about 30, 32 feet.
Okay.
And then after we said there was a lot of them around there, but we had so many other fish that were hanging out that we actually went after them. And kind of came in with a lackluster, like just under 17 pounds. And we didn't even miss any fish. We didn't break any off. We just maybe the quality we thought was there wasn't there on these fish that were scattered throughout the lake.
Okay.
And I guess in hindsight, there was still a lot of fish that were out scattered over those great big giant deep flats. And I guess we should have probably stuck with those. And we did discuss this. Kenny and I discussed this because we're kind of new to this this deep water jiggling game. Confidence would have played a big part in it. You know, like we just didn't have the confidence to stick with it. So
and absolutely, and that's why I didn't fish deep water in the tournament. I tried it on day 2 of practice, and all I kept catching was like 10-inch smallmouth. And then I thought, if this is going to happen, it's going to be something that I've got confidence in, right? So I'm going to grab the jig and try to strike some magic, and it didn't happen. But going next year,
from what I understand, you seem like an 8-pounder.
I did see an 8-pounder, so I was close. And maybe I should tell everybody the story for they know what we're talking about.
That's a good story. Good.
Pete and I had just hooked like a 6-inch smallmouth. So we're on the deep side of my boat. My boat's sitting in 3 feet of water, and on the other side of me is probably 40 feet. So I take the smallmouth off, and all of a sudden I feel like this boom on my hull. And I thought I had run my engine into a rock. And I look over, and there is an 8-pound largemouth bass. And I mean, I've seen 2 8-pounders weighed in tournaments, and this was all of 8 pounds. And he's twitching his head, trying to get this bluegill that he ate off the hull of my boat. And he kind of looked at me, and he had eyes the size of tunies. And I looked at Pete, and I said, "Holy shit!" And Pete looked at me, and we never even got a rod. Like, we were in such shun, nobody even picked up a rod, and all we did was watch him swim right down to 40 feet of water. And that's the biggest bass I've ever seen while fishing. So that lake has got it all. Like, and you told me at the weigh-in that lake wasn't even particularly fishing well that week.
What kind of celebration do you think would have transpired if you would have landed that fish?
To be honest,
on the front deck,
it would have been on. You wherever you were in Portland, you would have heard me.
And at
that point, I had 5 fish. So if I got them in my well, I probably would have headed straight to weigh-in. And I had to milk her for 4 or 5 hours. I would have made Corey take pictures of them, let them swim around in the live release boat, so I could show everybody one at a time when they came in. It would have been my championship right there.
Yeah, that would be a really good. It was just to show the quality of the fish in that lake. Maybe 2 years ago, Sean White, Limit Fish Media, and myself were practicing for a tournament. I was fishing with Kenny, but Sean and I were practicing, and he comes along often, runs the camera, and the guy takes great photos. So I love having him in the boat, and we'd actually locked up in this particular event. We were allowed to lock up, and I was reeling in about a pound, just like this little buck bass kind of thing, and out of nowhere, this enormous largemouth. I don't know how big it was, but it came up and swam right up behind the 1-pounder. The 1-pounder froze, like it didn't know what to do. It just sat there.
Panic.
And, it's on my hook, and the big one, this 8-9-pounder, just gigantic, just opens its mouth and sucks the entire 1-pounder right into its mouth.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Are you getting that on film?" He's like, "Yeah." And we actually have very grainy footage of it. We didn't have good audio and video equipment back then. But you can actually see the entire fish disappear into its mouth, and I'm actually swimming it towards the boat because there's a hook in the small bass, but it's not able to get into the big one,
That's huge.
And,
wow.
It was crazy. And interestingly enough, we went up there. Kenny and I went up there in the next tournament, and we went right to that same spot. And though we didn't get that one, we did catch one that was 670. So it was
Wow.
a 7-pounder up from maybe 15 yards away from where that one was.
Wow.
So
I will tell you that in the tournament, I caught a 5.9 on a frog, and Horniak, who usually fishes tournaments with me, can contest, that I set hook, I got him into the boat, I scooped him up on the side of the boat with my hand, and in out of excitement, I threw my rod off the other side of the boat. So I had the fish in my hand, and my rod was sinking, and I had to bring my rod in with my line. And I was just so pumped that I just tossed the rope like it was gone. And thankfully, I had that fish hook good because I got my rod and reel back. But I picked it up, and I had it in my hand, and I just started doing the Ishman rope. What do you do now?
yeah, it's really hard to contain yourself. Sometimes
Absolutely.
It's, having a big fish hit the front deck sometimes, and you know it's a key fish. You already have a good weight going on. When they come in the boat, it's so exhilarating sometimes. It's just I think that's why we keep fishing. It's because of those. It's not the
You're like a
entire
kid
event
again.
all the time. Like the entire event's really
Yeah.
good, but it's that one moment within the entire event that's just you remember them for the rest of your life. It's almost like anytime you want to recall them, it's as fresh as can be. You know, in your mind. You're like,
Absolutely.
that was probably one of the best, most exciting, satisfying experiences of your life. You know, so
So
that's think what we fish tournaments. So,
let's talk about Limit Fish Media and what you and Sean do there, because that's
Yeah.
a big thing that's for the anglers. It's not, and you guys did an amazing job, and Sean did an amazing job with the FLW and getting
Yeah, for
pictures
sure.
out, and you know, I got about 2 pictures of me, and
Great shots all around. The
Yeah.
whole event was.
guys, thanks guys. More to come too. Like there was actually there's a lot to come out, and it's just we probably have a few more out. But I guess what's happening, our kids play hockey, and hockey season just started. So
yeah,
you know, our office doesn't open until basically 9 o'clock at night. You know, so we do what we can, and we're working on some promotional videos right now for FLW Canada, and another slew of photographs that are coming out. Plus, we have a couple of interesting things coming out next future. We have a bunch of guys that want to go out and enjoy a day on the water, basically make their own demo fishing shows and
awesome.
and have a camera in their boat and enjoy themselves. Because you know, we made people understand it's not. Don't be embarrassed about it. Go out, have a good time, look good on the water. They put this stuff on YouTube. It helps.
Absolutely. The biggest
makes
thing you
sort
can
of
do
fun.
is worry about what anybody else thinks. You should just do. If fishing's your passion, film it, get it out there, let people know. And the big thing is in like a group like this, if you're filming, there's lots of guys out there who are filming too, and they'll want to talk to you about your videos and what you're doing. That's basically how we met over that COVID video.
That's right. That's right,
And,
man.
you know,
Absolutely.
you came to my defense, said, you know, I wasn't being a shit disturber and just causing trouble. That, you know, I was just trying to make sure that everybody could fish.
Yeah, well, that's the case, and that's what you're doing, and people have to understand. And now with all the technology we have, people are going to film things, and they're going to edit it, and they're going to put it on the internet, and people are going to watch it, and they're going to have opinions, and but you know, it's funny because we actually profile our viewers pretty heavily. Like we want to know who's looking, and we want to know what their mindsets are, and we find that people are warming up to the idea that regular people can actually produce a fairly decent program now, and that's enjoyable and has a little bit of an artistic flair to it that makes it not just some standard footage. Like there's something going on. There's a storyline to it. There's there's some excitement other than just some regular GoPro footage that people are running. They put some nice music to it. They make you excited. They make you want to go out and fishing. Go out and go fishing. They're inspiring to see. When you see one of your peers doing it, you want to do it too, right? Like you
Absolutely.
want to get out fishing and you want to bend some rods.
And that's how tournament fishing started for most of us. Is we saw it on like TNN Outdoors back in the day, and you know that's you want to be like Bill Dance or Bob Azumi or so. Making videos now through social networks and YouTube is just the next way to get young people excited about catching bass. So it's kind of like, but everybody can do it now. It's just not that small percentage that everybody can inspire the next generation.
And that's why I think Limit Fish is doing it, because like I think people at first were almost like, what are you guys up to? Like what's your game? And now people are realizing there is no game. Like we've never asked anybody for anything. We're like, look, we've never embarrassed anybody. We've always we have lots of photos of questionable taste, but those things will never be seen in public. We get rid of them. Like if we have something that we feel could like make somebody look poorly, man. It doesn't get stored in some like secret file to blackmail somebody later. Like we get rid of it immediately. Like it's gone. We delete it. It's erased. It'll never be seen again.
Yeah.
And people, we earn their trust. Like we feel we've really earned the anglers' trust, and we enjoy inviting us. Like they let us get in the boats. We've toured around in boats with guys. They've taken us to their best spots. They allow us to use their to take their photos. Move in. Sean moves right in on guys. He was right beside Sean and his partner during the last event, and he was like whipping him in. He's like, "Come closer, don't worry about it. Just get right behind the boat. You're not ruining anything,
Yeah, and the big thing about Limit Fish Media is that it's really for everybody else, not just you and Sean, but you're working for the anglers.
Yeah, the least amount of footage we have is actually Sean and I. The last two people we talk about is actually ourselves.
Yeah,
in many cases. So. Like in the off season, like we have a couple things. We're going to be filming this Friday some sort of a giant eel or some kind of a sea monster that we're going after. That
I've heard some stories.
And we saw the post, and we're all interested to see where you're going to land here.
Well, we're not sure, to tell you the truth. We do know that it's enormous and it's carnivorous.
Did you hook them the first time on some piece of chicken?
It was a piece of chicken.
On Foggy Bottom Lake, right?
Foggy Bottom Lake.
What was the guy's name?
Creek. It's Fog Bottom Creek.
Fog Bottom Creek.
And who's the guy that told you the story?
Whitebeard.
Whitebeard.
Beard White Dove.
Yeah, there you go.
White Dove, yeah.
All right, Trevor.
He makes homemade scotch. I don't. It probably will make you blind. Don't drink it if you ever meet up with him. So
before we cut you off here, can you tell us your best fishing story? We just had Spiro tell us his from down south, but can you give us your best fishing story?
Yeah, I can actually. I'm going to do this, and let's go back to Big Rito. You guys are familiar with Big Rito Lake, so I'll try to keep it short, but it's a very interesting story. So many years ago, Kenny Dagenais and myself, who we fished many tournaments together, we were rooming at Big Rito Lake. In fact, Zimmer. Hello. We rented a cabin right beside Big Rito, and anyways, there's some little cabins right out front. And back in the day, Superline had just came out, braided line.
Yeah.
And one of the problems with it at the time was that it never held a good knot. You weren't able to actually tie a good knot without it slipping through. Maybe we weren't even using the right knot. We were like 20 years old, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the point being is that someone said, "Hey, you know what you guys should do? You should put crazy glue on it. You put crazy glue on the knot, and it'll stick." So we get there, and we're in our hotel room, and I'm tying up a flipping stick with some braid on it. And as I'm tying it up, I have the crazy glue in my hand, and I'm squeezing it, trying to get on the knot, but nothing's coming out again. So I give it one really good squeeze, and the stuff goes and squirts out. And it just goes right by my face, and I look over at Kenny. I said, "Holy shit!" I said, "Imagine getting that in your eye." that would be just absolutely terrible. So fast forward 1 year, it's the same tournament for this whatever series we were fishing, and I'm sitting on the same bed, and I'm holding the glue, and I'm like, "Remember I almost got this shit in my eye last year?" Squeeze the bottle, it squirts right in my eye. I'm not joking it. So the first thing I do is obviously stick my hand to my eye like this. It's crazy glue. It immediately glues my hand to my eye. My hand off of my eye, but my eyelid's now shut. And I knew you got to get your eye open, dude. You have to open it up, or your eyelids are going to be shut. You're going to have to do surgery. So I literally grabbed my eyelid and I tore my eyelid open as wide as I could. As soon as the air hit my eyeball, the glue started to dry, and when it dries, it contracts. So it starts washing my eye. The pain that I was in. I'm a trades guy. I've been on motocross bikes all my life. I'm a trades guy. I've endured the craziest injuries you can possibly. This was 100 times worse than anything any human being has ever experienced. Now, to wrap up the story, Kenny's dad, at the time, drove us to the hospital, and we went into Perth to go to the hospital. And this is where the story gets strange.
Oh, this is where it gets
There's a guy sitting there with his eye completely blinded, disfigured, it's squashed, it's all wrinkly, and I'm in pain, I'm writhing on the floor, but I took time out to feel sorry for the guy beside me. And it was a drunk guy who was on a road tour with his friends, and they wanted to get a picture of him kissing a dead porcupine on the side of the road. Got down onto his hands and knees to kick the porcupine, or kiss the porcupine. His buddy kicks him in the ass and he falls face first. So he's got about 100 quills, none of them in his eye, but all over his face, nonetheless. So, anyways, the doctors came out and they determined who they should help, the guy with the glue in his eye or the drunk guy with the quills in his face. They ended up taking me in. I did a bunch of little surgeries and stuff. They took it out. My eyesight's fine. It was sore for a few days. I wore a big pirate hat for the rest of the summer, drank rum, pretended I was a pirate. It was great. And that was probably the craziest fishing story I ever have.
That's awesome. I feel bad for that guy. Not only you, but that guy with the porcupine quills. Like, that's not something to get over.
Stay away, man. Don't fall for that trap.
Yeah, no doubt.
Porcupine, don't let them get behind you because they're definitely.
I wonder how awesome his buddy felt who kicked him in the ass when he pulled his face off.
They were questionable looking characters. So, I mean, they were so drunk. They were so drunk, you know. So.
Well, Trevor, my man, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, we will talk to you soon.
All right.
And where can they find Limit Fish Media?
Basically on Facebook, because we've had a website that we don't do anything with for like the last year. It's been so good on social networking, but I will share that we are working with a website designer right now because we have so much content that we want people to come by and check it out. So in the meantime, probably sometime after January, check out limitfishmedia.com, which you can find us on Facebook at Limitfish Media, Twitter at Fish Stories, and whatever other social networking sites you can see. YouTube channel, we have a Limitfish YouTube channel with all kinds of crazy footage on there.
Awesome.
And from time to time we post stuff on Facebook just as a regular video that you can just click on and watch.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for doing this, my man.
Thank you for having me in. FearFishing, guys. Keep going.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, buddy.
See you later. Bye.
We'll make sure that we post the links to Limit Fish Media in the YouTube underneath for you guys to click on that. It's really worth checking out.
Oh, for sure. Great pictures.
Yeah.
Awesome quality, too. And, I mean...
And Sean Wright and Trevor are some of the nicest guys in fishing, too. Like, that goes a long way, too. Those guys are always willing to talk to people about fishing or anything fishing related.
So I got a question for you, Ian.
Okay.
I know that you've got to fish the Rideau, and you've also fished Tri-Lakes.
Yeah.
Which would you pick between the two?
You know what? That's actually a tough question.
They're both interesting.
You know, here's the thing. 5 years ago, I hated Tri-Lakes with a passion. And now, I'll bet you at least once a year in the last 5 years I cast a check on Tri-Lakes. Now, that being said, this year, for example, I weighed in 17 and change for 5th place on day 1. And day 2, I think I had 8 pounds. So, Rideau, maybe that I didn't do so well there during the tournament. Certainly, they're two completely different lakes. You could maybe argue that the north end of Pigeon's a little like Rideau. If I had to pick one or the other, and you know, this is probably going to haunt me forever for tournaments, and I'm going to cry to Amber about this, that I should have never said this, but honestly, I think I'm going to go with Big Rideau.
I would too.
For sure.
It's definitely a fun place to fish, and there's so much fish there, and you can fish any technique you really want to.
That's the big thing too. That if no matter what your strong point is, other than cane, I didn't see any cane there. So
no, that is true. That is true. You can't come with us.
Other than fishing cane, if you're good at something, you can probably catch bass on Big Rideau.
Even me?
I don't know about you. That might be pushing it, honey.
Let's give her a second.
Jumbo bag of Senkos and cut her loose.
Do we got any more questions?
I'm looking here. I haven't come across any yet.
Do you want the salmon topic to be a teaser for next week?
No, I think we want to get right into this because salmon. What's today's date, kids?
September 30th.
Okay, so salmon is going to close tomorrow.
Yep.
I put a lot into this on social media, and I want everybody who knows anything about this in the room, what's going on in Port Hope, my hometown, is unacceptable. It is not even fishing at this point. And the thing I keep hearing is that the problem is so bad that they're going to push to close the river next year for salmon fishing. Now, that being said, that's probably the easy thing to do. My problem with that is 90% of what's going on there right now, and we're sitting in Port Hope right now, and I'll guarantee you there's fish being snagged on the Ganaraska River right now, gutted, the road taken out, and they're throwing it on the banks. My issue is that if they close the river, there's going to be some young kid in Port Hope who's 13 or 14 or 15 years old, who doesn't have a car, who doesn't have parents to drive them all over the place fishing, who's down there doing the ethical thing, and these fish will bite. That's the thing I don't like. When they're running from the lake to a pool or a place where they're going to stop to rest, they will not bite anything. You might as well throw grenades in the water. But when they start to pull up, Chinook salmon are probably the most aggressive and arguably the most aggressive species in fresh water. There's not very many fish that go from, a fry or an egg, and in 5 years they're 30 pounds. These things eat their body weight of food, I'm going to say almost every couple days. They swim 30 miles an hour. Male Chinooks are fighting with other male Chinooks to find hens. Now, do I think that these fish are going to digest food and make a magical, run back to the lake? No. But I will tell you, if you fish these fish the right way and you make them mad, they will swim across the pool and destroy bait. Purely out of, this is the makeup of a Chinook salmon. You can take a 60-year-old guy who was a heavyweight champion over the world. I'll guarantee you can throw a punch. He can knock you right on your ass. He may not have the feet work, but these Chinook salmon will bite. You got to do it at the right time. And maybe the whole thing is education. I'd rather see the river open longer with catch and release. Nobody can keep a fish out of that river between, September 1st and December 31st. But the trade-off would be that we got a little more time to fish the river into the steelhead season. And there's not one answer. We all got to get together and deal with this situation. We can't be passing the buck and saying it's not my problem, it's not your problem. It's everybody's problem. Because if they close this one, the next time there's an issue with, Rice Lake walleye or, and I'm just spitting out stuff here. Or deer hunting somewhere, or, people who want to go to the movies. If there's a problem at the theater, we shouldn't just cancel the movies. If there's a problem at the hockey rink with parents yelling at kids about hockey, we don't just close the hockey rink. We deal with the situation, and that's what needs to be done here. And not just in Port Hope, all across the North Shore tributaries. And it's going to take a whole bunch of like-minded individuals who really care about maybe not salmon, but fishing, to bring this together and make some change. Anybody else?
100% agreed.
Okay. All right. So that's where I sit with the salmon thing. And I'm not ending this show on a bad note. I just want everybody to be aware. Moving on. Moving on. Next. It seems we kicked some ass here. I think we got 5 minutes left in the program.
This was a good week.
Everybody, this was really good. The couch crew, you guys were looking good over there. I saw you nodding and laughing and having a good time.
That goes without saying. Come on, now.
Rich, you're a little quiet for Rich.
I was a little quiet, but you know what?
There's two Riches.
I was
there's
really
the boat Rich, and there's this Rich.
Yeah, this Rich is gonna come alive, I think, pretty soon. But
And don't take me to a tree stand because there's a third Rich.
That's the scary one.
That's the scary one.
That's the Rich that doesn't sit still.
Yeah.
So, we couldn't get this on live, but it's going to hit YouTube in 4 minutes. As soon as 4 minutes is up, we're going to start uploading this stuff. We had two amazing guests, too.
and that's where I was getting. Like, how can you speak over somebody like that when they're talking about fishing with like some of the top anglers in the world on Sam Rayburn?
Well,
I mean, you just gotta listen, man. Like,
I appreciate you wouldn't cut me off like that, Rich, but it's been awesome. There's big things moving forward with spearfishing. Don't forget your swag. I'm rocking the new lime green shirt. We got to get that up on the line, honey,
Yes.
for the folks at home can get that. And, you know, we're going to shoot, I know we said it today, but 2 weeks time from now, we're going to shoot to go live again. I'm going to get some more information. I'm probably going to have to bring somebody in. But there's got a way we can do this live. So comment away. Comment on social media. Let us know what you think. Maybe you like the show. Maybe you don't like the show. But we want to hear from you.
Yeah, for sure.
And we want to grow this, and we want to talk about more subjects, more things. We're going to have more guests. I've already spoke to some talented anglers, and we're going to get them on the show to talk about things from kids fishing all the way to anything. Anything I can get them to
Don't
talk
be
about.
afraid to ask your questions. Ask anything you want.
That's right.
Don't think there's
we're
stupid questions.
That's right. There's no stupid questions out there, and we're totally open to talk about anything. So fire away. I want to give a special thanks to everybody who is in the room. The crew tonight, you guys did awesome.
Tyler behind.
Tyler did a great job.
That's
Tyler
awesome,
did a
man.
ton of work today to pull this together. And I just want to say thanks. Good night. And we'll see you very soon.
That worked.